Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, December 14th, 2022, up to 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a humdinger of a time for change call tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. Albert Einstein. There's a great secret that our parents may not have told us when we were young. We are eternal beings that will never die and are temporarily on a roller coaster called life. This ride has got loads of twists and unexpected turns. There's going to be a massive uphill climb at some point, a gigantic downhill drop, loop-de-loops, and many emotional squeals and squeaks along the way. What our parents might have been unable to communicate to us is that we have nothing to worry about because we're never going to die. And I know people, because of the body. No, you're not the body. You're the God within the body. So you're never going to die. Remember, the body is a temporary suit of clothing. It's no different than a suit of clothing. You can take this temporary roller coaster through life seriously or not. The choice is yours. And every moment, how you're going to ride this sacred ride. Ecstasy is our very nature. Not to be ecstatic is simply unnecessary. Also. Meaning, are we going to grab on tight with a white-knuckled grip, clutching the fake steering wheel, or are we going to sit back and relax so that our hands can fly freely in the air? However we decide to live our lives is totally fine. Just know that you're strapped in the seat, and this life is going to take you all the way to the very end. The choice is yours, just how tight or loose you care to grip onto the unnecessary handrail. What do you fear is the worst that could happen to an eternal spiritual being who will never die? What do you believe would happen if you let go of everything you think is true and stayed open to the idea that anything is possible? What if you are here only to discover how fun it is to be human, living in a perpetual state of joy, appreciating everything on this wild journey? What if you were the only one who decided how you wanted to design your life, give it purpose and meaning, and create a sense of wonder, strength, and passion while you're in this particular body? I believe that the thoughts, experiences, and feelings that arise inside of our human lives are meant to do one powerful thing: to give us the experience of being human and feeling alive, so that we can let go of trying to control the roller coaster and simply enjoy the ride. That's it. In this now moment, you can breathe deeper, relax more fully into your body, and feel this overflowing sensation of peace with who you are. This peace that is found solely by relaxing with yourself is the most sacred, deeply eternal loving of them all. And knowing how to always find it is the greatest accomplishment that any human being can achieve. Choosing to be at peace with oneself allows us to relax into our lives so that we can deeply unravel ourselves and discover the God source within. Inner peace is not always so easily found. Start with investigating your connection to this ever-present awareness that is within you. The one that always watches you has never, ever judged you. The only real valuable thing in this life is intuition. Albert Einstein. Know your inner awareness intimately and create the deepest, most personal connection with it. Know your inner awareness intimately. Create the deepest, most personal connection with it. Look for awareness in your heart, in your belly, and at the core of your being. It is also in the spaces you would least think to look. Resting as this awareness, free from all the mind chatter, is what being at peace is all about. Our minds create all the distractions. Awareness creates the time and space to explore our life's greatest possibility. Remember always that whatever you focus on always expands. Whatever you focus on always expands. Trust life. Trust God. If you trust, only then can you put your mind aside and something immense opens up. Then this life is no longer ordinary life. It becomes full of God, overflowing. Also, quiet the mind and you will master it. How do you quiet the mind? Step out of it and leave it alone. Focus on the breath, listen to the breath, move into the now. The breath is the now. The mind does not exist in the now. This is how you quiet the mind, and this is how you will master it. This very moment, we can stop paying so much attention to our thoughts and instead pay closer attention to where all of our thoughts are arising from. Only at the source of thought do you discover the divine purpose of your entire life. An awake, aware mind lives in bliss and can manifest its desires 1,000 times easier than a non-meditative mind. We can easily discover this extraordinary bliss within us through meditating on the eternal soul that we all are. The constant discovery of this eternal being that we are is much bigger and better than any thought or experience we could ever have. It is the greatest, deeply eternal loving we can ever discover because it frees us from all of our suffering instantly. Once the mind stops its perpetual search out there, and simply is being present to the eternal being that is here now, everything becomes very clear and instantly blissful. The quieter you can become, the more you're able to hear. The quieter you can become, the more you're able to hear. Chinese proverb. Whatever it is you most crave to experience in this lifetime is easily found through mastering this mind. Meditation is the link we've been missing our entire lives. It is the gateway to an eternal river of inner bliss that naturally unfolds successfulness in everything we do. Like taming a wild horse, the mind can get crazier and wilder the more we attempt to control it. However, the more often we sit still, allowing for this quietness inside, the more our minds will discover the freedom to play, laugh with life, enjoy the play of duality, and transcend all suffering. Only with a calm, centered mind and body can we explore any unknown and are metaphysically opening up the greatest manifesting channels of energy in this universe. Only with a calm, centered mind and body can we explore any unknown and are metaphysically opening up the greatest manifesting channels of energy in this universe. And what metaphysically means, meta means beyond. So beyond physically. You're going beyond. If there were only one purpose for meditating, it would be to transcend the drama and illusions created by our minds and deeply realize that we are the God source behind it all of it. This constant realization will be the end of our suffering forever. Forever, forever. To embody this cosmic understanding simply takes letting go of all the ideas we have about who and what we are and being open to the simple essence of you. This is the secret to connecting with the infinite essence inside. The magic all starts and ends with letting go of every idea about who we think we are. This lets the simple experience of being alive become a sacred daily, deeply eternal loving. Simply being an eternal being, breathing, walking, talking, connecting with others, automatically opens up full access to our unlimited manifesting powers. It also perpetuates a healing awareness in you that will allow you to attract more of the most positive, loving experiences and people that you desire. You become a being of light, overflowing with joy, love, self-appreciation, self-approval, and self-love. If you want total freedom from suffering right now, realize this one simple truth as many times as you can in the next week. You are an eternal being and will never die. This is a profound spiritual awareness that eventually this civilization will come full circle to and will come and go in our minds until we root it. These roots are drilled into the soil of our bodies when we decide we are ready to awaken to a higher state of consciousness. When we choose and to the deeply loving and eternalness for ourselves in this way, then the real deeply eternal loving starts to pour forth. To be ecstatic is natural, spontaneous. It needs no effort to be ecstatic. It needs great effort to be miserable. Also, it takes a lot of energy to be miserable. And you can meditate whenever you choose, of course, that you are an infinite, eternal being, and you will never die. This understanding will eventually come front and center for this population, the civilization of planet Earth. You will come to the full realization by your own choosing that you're an eternal being that will never die. Yes, you're in a body. And yes, the body one day will cease to operate, and you'll leave it. No different than a suit of clothes. They'll cease to function for you. You'll shed them and put on a new one. And this is all about going within and discovering who and what you are. When we spend most of our time, and a lot of people on this planet spend most of their time out there, being distracted by the past or the future. And then henceforth the ego, mind, is in fully charge of you and mastering you. So it guides you, it directs you, it tells you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It comes in on thoughts. And you get to an understanding with yourselves, and say, wait a minute, that's an ego thought. I'm not interested in engaging with it. No matter how much it seems like my thought, I know it isn't. All of us have the power, immense power, to shift in any direction we choose, in the spur of the moment. You could be, you could get carried away with anger, but yet in the middle of that, you can differentiate between it and understand is that I don't care to engage this. It's too much energy to expend in such a low frequency. Why would we spend so much energy in low frequencies? You see how habitual it's become for us to do that. And, it's interesting because you could be doing anything during the course of your day. Not, kind of neutral, just kind of moseying along. And if something very insignificant sparks you into a downward spiral of negativity. And you're really not, you're not aware of it. It sounds different, but you're not aware of it. You just do it. And you expend a lot of energy. And a lot of times you're exhausted from it. And it can take a while for you to pull yourself out of it. So whenever you feel anger, where maybe it's just starting to bubble up. Maybe, there's a spark that started it. Someone could have bumped you, or, someone could have dinged your car. Something could have happened. And boom, it's like the ego mind steps right in and you go right down that path. And you say, I am not going to, and I'm not interested, and I don't care to be engaged in expending energy in the lower frequencies. So I'm going to focus on what I am grateful for. That'll shift it immediately. Absolutely. It's like you could take someone who is homeless, penniless, in the cold. They have a choice, right? They can spiral into the negative frequencies, the lower frequencies, which is a spiral effect, and go down deeper. And it takes a lot of energy to do that. Or they can take the other direction and say, I don't care to engage in these low frequencies of doom and gloom and misery and disappointment and upsetedness. I'm going to focus on what I'm grateful for in this very moment. And that's when you focus on the breath and you go into the heart. There's a lot of people on this planet right now, in this very moment, that are choosing to go down the negative frequency because it's so habitual. And we all do it. We all get caught in it. It's not a bad thing. It's just a part of our experience in physical form. And it's our choice. Doesn't seem like it would be that difficult, does it? Well, when you're consciously aware of it, it isn't, because you know absolute that if you do, because we all know that we've all done it so many times that we're masters of it. So when you master something, what do? You move to something else you can master, then something else, then something else, then something else. And once you've mastered something, you've mastered it. That's the whole purpose. Once you master being in gratitude 24/7, you will always be in gratitude 24/7. It'll click right in. There will be no room for the ego mind. When you master the understanding that you are a supreme, omnipotent, divine being who will never die, once you master that, that's how you will generate all the time. And to know that you are going within, and you chose to go within, and you don't care to go without anymore. You don't care to go out there. You've done that. Have you mastered it? Yeah. We all have. And we know every time we go out there, we create something. Right? We focus on something, and it begins to form. Now, not necessarily are we aware of that, but we do it every day. Whatever you focus on, see, and the tricky part is that you're focusing on something, right? And it might be really positive. And then the ego mind comes in with these little doubts and these little fears, and it negates that flow. So on one hand, we're putting out positive energy to manifest something. And then on the other hand, at the same time, we're doubting and fearing and wondering and then not trusting the universe, not trusting ourselves, not having faith in ourselves and the universe, and not having the confidence in ourselves or the heart, mind, and the universe. It will become so apparent as this civilization progresses that it's the opposite of what we've been taught. See, we've been taught that you have to really, really intensely fixate on things. You have to run after them and grab them and hold them tight, or you'll lose them. And it's the opposite. Does it make any sense to any of us that we're divine, omnipotently powerful beings that will never die in these bodies, right? We have all the powers we need. We have everything that we will ever need on this endless journey, all contained within us, within these bodies. And then you have the soul and the God within the soul. So does it make any sense that we wouldn't have all of this, that we wouldn't be powerful, omnipotent, divine beings that never die? No, it doesn't, does it? Why would we be lacking anything? Well, people say, well, that's because we must learn. No. We discover who and what we are, and then we apply the power that we are in any direction we choose by being aware of it and maintaining our stay in the heart-mind. These are the things we learn. And once we understand that we literally, as powerful beings we are in these bodies, we can create anything we choose. We've been taught forever that that's the opposite. Nothing comes to you. You have to go after everything. Chase it, right? It's like the tortoise and the hare. The hare is constantly running and running and running and running and running. And then it gets so arrogant that the turtle is constantly plodding along, moving along, gaining ground, and ends up winning the race. Slowly. That's why we talk about slowing down. Catch yourself. Even when you get up and brush your teeth, make sure that you are not rushing it. You know that you'll know the feeling in the center of your heart when you're rushing things. It is an assault on the God that you are within that body. You'll know it every single time. And all you've got to do, choose to do, is feel it and say, I don't care to rush. There's no reason to rush. I am an infinite divine being. I never die. This body is temporary. And of course, you take care of the body because you want to stay in it as long as you can. So it's interesting because it's all a choice for us. No one's going to choose for you. Believe you me. No one. You are. You determine and decide. You're the God in that body. You could choose to live a life of lacking, worry, stress, fear, anxiety, anger, greed, manipulation. I mean, that's a choice. Or you can choose a life of deep eternal love, bliss, joy. That you are. All of those things is the God in that body. And you see, we discover that. It's not out there. It never has been. That's our distraction. That's our entertainment, so to speak. Then we begin to discover the real us, who you are. And then one step at a time, things move into place. You might have opportunities come to you. You might say, oh, and this one I'm not interested in, but this one I'm interested in, so I'll embrace it and I'll bring it in. And then I'll move that energy, right, into form, create it into reality, and experience it. Oh, I think I'll intend this and manifest this because I can experience some things with this and have a lot of fun with it and not take this life so seriously. Especially around this time of year on this planet, globally. There's a lot of people stressing, fearing, and fretting, worrying, doom and gloom, right? Expending those energies in those areas. But see, the displacement for us is that we don't know we're powerful. Isn't that amazing? And we see, power in this civilization means that your body's powerful and that you can do many things, right? Control many things, oversee many things. And that's not it at all. The power is within the body. And that's how we will shift the vibrational frequencies of this planet. And that's what's occurring right now. And as each of us become more and more aware, more and more higher and higher frequencies are chosen by us and no one else. More and more higher vibrational frequencies. What does that do? It uplifts the entire civilization and it assists the God within this planet. Now, interestingly enough, we, the gods in these bodies, are all knowing, all seeing, all everything. But we don't remember that. So we're like babes in the woods. And it's up to us to discover it. Now, some of us, thousands of lifetimes, and we haven't discovered it. But this lifetime's a lot different. More openness, more awareness than ever before on this planet, which is a good thing. because many people needed this tumultuous time that we're in, whether they knew it or not, that it would literally shake them awake. And of course, there are those that will take another lifetime or another. But more aware on this planet than many believe. And it's growing every single day. And we are all part of it. We're all one. The gods that we are one. Yes, we're experiencing different paths and different avenues and different directions, but it all goes into the one. It's like you ask yourself, which way do I choose? Now, when we do it this way, right? You go into the heart mind and you're watching what turn to make, right? And you say to yourself, I've been for many lifetimes in the direction of worry, stressing, and fearing, lack of. So I've been there many times. I don't care to go there anymore. I'm going to choose the direction of going within, discovering the God within the body that I am, and that I never die, and the body's temporary. And to discover that I am the bliss, I am the love, I am the joy, I am the ecstasy. I'm all of those things that we all seek outside of ourselves. And it's a choice for every one of us. You may be bopping along and all of a sudden bump into it and say, hey, wait a minute, this looks interesting. Maybe I should go within. It's a journey that you're not going to ever want to give up. You won't. Can you see how that frequency shifts when you, through your heart minds, feel it in that direction? Because it's interesting, because none of us are exempt from, stepping into the angriness and then the frustration and the fear and the worry and the stress and all those sufferings, because every single one of us step into it quite often in these lives. And then when we wake enough and understand that, it's a simple decision of awareness that we make for ourselves that we go in that direction. The direction of pure bliss and joy and love and compassion and passion. And we won't ever care to disconnect it. We won't care to disconnect. We won't care to leave it. And when we make that choice, we won't look back. When we were all children, right? What was communicated to us about enlightenment? We talk about this a lot. Can you imagine what would happen if you had a child, right? And you begin teaching the child about who and what he or she was? What do you think would happen? And imagine you taught the child that the less fear we're holding in the body, the more we can relax and open ourselves up to experiencing a more expansive, enlightened state of consciousness. All fears are simply emotionally contracted thoughts invented by a mind that still believes it is disconnected from the source. Fear is false. It's absolutely false. And because we're so powerful, look what we can do with it. Fear has gripped this planet long enough. We don't care to give it any more buoyancy or energy. So then the child begins to learn these things early as an open vessel. To transcend any fear, first discover what you are deeply afraid of. And when you make this choice, you will be able to see deeper into yourself and understand exactly what you are running from in your life. Once you know what you are running away from, then you begin to run towards it and welcome it into your heart with a big embrace. And this, I can guarantee you, this approach will dissolve any fear instantly. And in time, it will completely release. It will be completely released from your body. And it's the more practice that we have in embracing our fears, the easier it becomes to find total relaxation so that we can access our full spiritual connection within our consciousness. It becomes very finite for us to understand where do you choose to direct your energy? Where? And what I mean by that is, where do you choose to direct your energy to take energy into form, create it in reality, and experience it? Where? Do you ever ask yourselves that? It's like, stop trying to continuously improve or fix yourself. That takes a lot of energy, by the way. I believe that most of us understand that. Now, this may seem contradictory, yet it's actually complementary. How often do we find ourselves trying to replace our negative thoughts and feelings with positive ones? How much of our lives have been spent trying to heal ourselves or our minds? Is all the effort and energy that we're putting into improving us actually making us relax into the experience that we are already divine, already sacred, deeply lovable, and already connected to the God source? The result from continuously fixing, improving, and healing ourselves is perpetuating the feeling of, I am not okay exactly as I am. Any unconscious self-improvement habit is just another egoic dis-ease. And the real problem is not what it appears to be. Go to the root of the matter, which is this dualistic mind, and uproot the entire I'm broken and need to be fixed emotional program. Realize that who you are is neither these negative or positive thoughts, yet the consciousness and awareness behind them. Only through pure awareness will we be able to stop the habit of trying to change, fix, and improve ourselves, and instead surrender deeply into the spiritual sacred core of our being, where self-realization is. And it's also enjoying the practice of quieting the incessant chattering and repetitive mind. We have discovered that the mind is a limited conglomeration of ideas and beliefs about who we think we are and what reality is. It behaves much like a computer that is unaware of itself, and just spits out information that was programmed into it. Does that sound familiar, like what we do? The mind is like a machine, so it is not conscious. The mind is a horrible master and a wonderful servant. So we either choose or not choose. We choose to train the mind so that we can use it instead of being used by it. It cannot remain in the present moment. It must keep moving with ideas that engage the past and the future to remain in control of us. When we quiet the mind, we regain control of it. The more we can practice paying attention to the stillness and silence that is behind the chattering mind, the less power the mind has over you, and the less you'll get trapped in your limited ego or identity. The word ego, ego, is really just an acronym for excluding God's omnipresence. Excluding God's omnipresence. This is something that you should define ego and put it somewhere where you can see it. You right? It's really just an acronym for excluding God's omnipresence. Makes sense, doesn't it? Who's the God? You are in that body. Now, some people, it really doesn't matter. Some understand, some don't. Being trapped in excluding God's omnipresence means excluding the God that you are in that body. Through the constant awareness of our ego, we can bypass the mind and access this omnipresent divine spiritual energy inside of us. Through the constant awareness of our egos, we can bypass the mind and access this omnipresent divine spiritual energy inside of us. We can discover our natural enlightened states. We become aligned with the bigger truth that we already are infinite spiritual beings who have been given the gift of a limited physical human expression with illusionary challenges that make us grow. When the mind is quiet, we can enjoy this divine play and find real peace with the entire dynamic. We find full acceptance that we are both the ego and spirit, and know all is perfect as it is. These are all steps to our enlightenment on this planet and the new earth, releasing all attachments and aversions to everyone and everything. Releasing all attachments and aversions to everyone and everything. As humans, we tend to get attached to or avoid certain thoughts and feelings we believe will make us happy or unhappy. We get into habits of resisting this life in trying to control our experience so that we get what we think will only bring us joy and avoid what makes us unhappy. We even create these patterns based on what others say, feel, and believe, and ignore our own inner voice and connection. This attachment and avoidance habit manifests because deep down we feel disconnected from our spiritual sources. We are still trying to find some form of security by controlling our reality. When we were young, we saw others avoiding what is painful and remaining attached to what is pleasurable, and believed this is how it should be done. The enlightened state shows up when we listen to our hearts and stop being attached to or avoiding anything. When we understand that this life is like a pendulum designed to swing and give us both experiences of pain and pleasure, we can transcend them both. By accepting this natural pendulum swing, we become free from being the one who always needs to be in control and running the show. Pain and suffering are just the universe's way of telling us to let go. Pain and suffering are just the universe's way of telling us to let go and trust the flow. Let go and trust the flow. The purpose of feeling pain is not to create more suffering, yet for us to wake up and create an immediate new life change. This change is necessary for us to evolve and eventually drop all identity with our ego trip so we can return to our spiritual source. By allowing ourselves to let go of our mind's attachments and aversions, we can genuinely enjoy our lives again. We then start energetically communicating to this universe that we are abundant, thankful, happy, beautiful, and free. This experience allows us to expand in consciousness, deepen our connection to our infinite source inside. Being free from the illusion that we are separate from the infinite source of love, energy, and connection. Feeling separate and disconnected from our universe is the unenlightened state. Feeling separate and disconnected from our universe is the unenlightened state. We become enlightened when we are continuously aware how deeply and intimately connected we already are. The illusion of separation is not an accident or coincidence. The universe is extremely intelligent. Every feeling of separation is needed so that coming spiritually home is that much more amazing. The polarization of separation, unification, breeds a truly juicy, alive, and incredible experience of this life. When we become enlightened, we will see the full illusion, and know how to stop manifesting another experience of loss, failure, or separation again. The illusion that we are not connected to the divine is karmic. It stems from lifetimes of our minds attached and avoidance of limiting ideas of who and what we think we are. Once we untangle ourselves from our fun, sticky karmic mess, we will remember that we were always one energy, one sea of consciousness, always connected with our source. All experiences of suffering simply drop away when we pay closer attention to who we truly are. All suffering comes from a lack of awareness of our divinity. Once we stop forgetting our eternal abundant nature, we begin stepping forward into a life overflowing with synchronicity, ease, grace, love, and knowing our divine unlimited nature. Waking up is as simple and easy as remembering that the sun is always on, always bright, and always shining somewhere. I'll join you in a meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take a slow, deep breath in through the nose. Slow, deep, and easy breath out through the mouth. Remain still. Do you know why there is so much suffering in this world? Because most everyone is over-identified with their thoughts and wrapped up in the ego. An illusionary limited identity. This ego trip gets in the way of knowing ourselves to be a divine, flowing source of love, sweetness, and joy. Drop whatever knowledge you have that is causing you to cling to your ego. Stop reacting and start to consciously allow life's natural, intelligent, and conscious loving energy to flow through you. Your divine essence itself. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. And we will return here Thursday, December 15th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And tonight, Wednesday, December 14th, 2022, to continue our Time for Change call, 9 p.m. Eastern. Be good to yourselves.